All right. Hey, guys, I'm joined by my good friend and fellow legal instructor, Zach Miller. We're going to answer some questions for you. The first one I have for you, Zach, is about knock and talks. All right. So here's the scenario. We have an officer in Arizona. He works for a tribal community, Indian community, and so forth. And he says that a lot of members in the community have 1 acre lots. And many of them, what they'll do is they'll have their house, right? And they'll allow like a friend, a family member, and so forth, they'll allow them to live in like a shed in the backyard or convert like take like an old trailer, and basically make it their home. So the question is, look, we basically almost like we have two domiciles, on this 1 acre lot, right? We have the main residence and we have the where the friend is staying. The first question I have for you, Zach, is what if the cops have an arrest warrant for a person living in the shed? Can they actually just go around that main domicile and arrest that person, or do they need an additional search warrant? Do they need permission and so forth?
I think the arrest warrant, coupled with the belief that the guy that we want to arrest is actually in this particular shed, and our belief that he lives here right now, I think that gets us up to and into that shed, taking whatever the normal pathway this guy would take to get to his shed.
Right,
Because I mean, he obviously has to walk onto the property of the landowner to get to his own shed.
right.
So I would imagine as long as we're following whatever the what appears to be the normal way he would get to his own shed, with our arrest warrant and a belief that he's in there, I think we're good to go.
Okay. Now, do you have any case law to back this up that we can maybe give this guy or?
Uh, no, I don't. I don't have any other than Peyton,
Okay,
Peyton
yeah,
versus New
Peyton.
York.
Yeah, yeah. Is
Yeah,
that that's a
yeah,
that's a Supreme Court case, right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. I think
Which
I think Peyton is a good case, and it says in there that if the cops had an arrest warrant, that'd be a reason to get into the house. Now, let me ask you something before I go to the next question. Just a curveball, quick response from you. What if the target of the warrants is just visiting, right? Because he doesn't live in the main house, but he's visiting his friend in the main house. Can the cops enter that house to serve that warrant?
No, if the soon-to-be arrestee is just a visitor or a guest in the whatever domicile he's in, no, then Peyton doesn't work. Stiegald versus the
Mm-hmm.
United States is going to be our case there that says, in the third party premises case where the arrestee is in someone else's home, only the search warrant serves to protect the homeowner's Fourth Amendment rights in this case.
Okay.
So that scenario is about the homeowner's rights, not the arrestee's
Right,
rights.
because in this case, the guy living in the shed may not have standing to contest police entry, but you're saying that the homeowner would.
Right. Correct.
And if
So
he,
for the arrestee, we may be good to go for his Fourth Amendment rights purposes,
right.
but in the same it's the same series of events, we're also violating the Fourth Amendment rights of the guy that actually lives there.
I've actually seen cases about that where the court basically said like the cops went into the friend's house, they arrested him, and the court's like, "Yep, no violation," and cops like, "But Anthony, no, you're wrong. Look at this case." And it's like, "Well, hold on. They're talking the defendant was the one suing. He
Yes.
and it's like he doesn't have standing, and that's what it said. The case didn't say, and they're like, oh, so the other guy could still sue us. I'm like, yes, and win because Stiegel says what it says, right?
Right, because if the arrestee could sue us and win in that scenario, then we would be effectively saying he has greater protection in someone else's house
Mm-hmm.
than he has in his own house.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah,
Exactly.
depends on who our plaintiff is in that case.
All right, good. So look, the first thing you establish is that based on the Fourth Amendment, we have to comply with state laws and so forth. But based on the Fourth Amendment, that shed or that RV, whatever it is his domicile if it's in the backyard, and Peyton says we can serve it at his domicile. The next question says, all right, what if we don't have a arrest warrant? What if we want to do an investigative follow-up? What if this guy living in the shed is a suspect in our investigation? We just want to kind of get his side of the story. Do we need permission from the landowner to go on and talk to him at the shed?
Again, I don't think so. As long as we're doing a knock and talk, basically,
Correct.
it sounds like. So as long as we are taking the normal route that appears to be the route the home the shed owner or the shed resident, I guess,
Yeah.
as long as whatever he would take to get to his own front door, I think as long as we're taking that route, our Girl Scout rule would
Mm.
apply. If it's the route the Girl Scout troop can take to get to your front door to sell you Girl Scout cookies, then we're allowed to take that route as well.
Right.
There's that implied consent that
Right.
we're relying upon there.
I have a follow-up question for you, but don't you think, I mean, let's just be honest here. Don't you think the Girl Scouts are wasting their time trying to sell cookies and a guy living in a shed? You ever thought about
That,
that problem?
no, actually, to be honest with you, I never have. Yeah, he's probably not a viable candidate for a
I
whole
mean, I
bunch
guess
of. Yeah, he might want a box of Thin Mints just like everyone
he
else,
wants them.
but
I
I don't
just don't
think
know if
they're.
he has the money because even for me, they're a little pricey.
Yeah.
I pay it because I love
Okay.
supporting the Girl Scouts and what they do, but um, I just think they're
Right.
wasting their time. But hey, they can try, But to each his own. But I will tell you, I love what you just said now because the officer did say something, and I've heard this before. Maybe you have too. The mailman rule. And the mailman rule seems to be an analogy to the Girl Scout rule. However, I don't know. Are you a
Mhm.
fan of the mailman rule, or do you prefer the Girl Scout rule? Which one do you not care? What's your opinion on that?
Um, no, I think the mailman might, you could argue he might have a greater um license to enter, especially if it's the Amazon delivery
Right.
driver, because I mean, you've ordered something, you're implicitly consenting for him to enter your property to deliver you that package, and he may be able to go other places that just the general public who wants to come knock on your door could go.
Yeah.
Um,
That's always.
I like Girl Scout rule better than mailman rule.
Yeah, I do, and actually, I love that because that was my contention. Like, I used to have a house where I had it was a condensed area, like super urban, and my mail carriers, whether it's UPS, Postal Service, or FedEx, they felt obliged. Apparently, I never told them that they could do this, but they felt obliged to actually put my packages behind my gate in my backyard. And I always loved that
Hmm.
because I never told them they can do it, but I didn't tell them to stop doing it because I thought it was a great idea for me. Um, but that's the problem, right? If I saw, the Girl Scouts opening up my back gate, I would have a problem with that, right? They don't have my implied consent to try to contact me in my backyard. It's just the way it is. And even if they know I'm back
Yeah.
there, I can ignore them without any intrusion, right? But the mailman could probably put the packages back
Hmm.
there. And I've also heard of the meter reader rule, but that doesn't work either because meter readers, first of all, are once a month or something like that. They usually get into the backyard to read that meter. If it's an old school house. I know new schools have like the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi, but the point is, if you say meter reader or mailman, you might be thinking you get more license or more authority than you actually have, right, Zach?
Right, I think so. And I think if you read, I think don't they even talk about the Girl Scouts in Hardiness? I think Scalia mentions Girl
Oh,
Scouts
they and the
and
trick or treaters.
yes,
Yep.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So,
Can't
nice
remember.
professional operation you got there, Zach. What?
Yeah, it's the cat. We got a cat walking around
You got a cat
here.
walking around. Hey, look,
Yeah,
but look, I think, with that little humorous episode there, I think that, look, I think we nailed it here as far as, what they're looking for. I think you gave great advice. This is what these officers should be thinking about. But a lot of it's articulation, right? Especially about where they think it's appropriate to go and
yeah,
so forth. All right. That's what we have for you guys. Keep the
exactly.
questions coming. Don't forget that Zach is traveling around the country teaching search and seizure in person. I think he also may have some online, some on-demand classes coming down the pike and so forth. But guys, follow Zach. Go to bluetogold.com. You can also see a schedule. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and all those other places. Until next time, my friends, you guys stay safe.